Peter Schiff, the chairman of Schiff Gold, has stated that the Federal Reserve's stress tests are overlooking the true nightmare scenario. He warns that no major bank will be able to survive the coming financial disaster. On February 5th, the Federal Reserve released its 2025 stress test scenarios, outlining hypothetical economic conditions to assess the resilience of major US banks. These annual tests evaluate how large financial institutions would perform under various economic shocks, ensuring they hold enough capital to continue lending in adverse conditions. Do you know what truly drives inflation and deflation? The markets are shifting, inflation is devouring wealth, and central banks are lost in illusion. But the Yi-Jing has foreseen this moment. Welcome to the hidden forces of wealth and ruin. Yi-Jing warns that storms gather before the flood. Those who act without wisdom will fall. Liquidity is the key. It shapes inflation, debt, and market collapses. Yet, few truly understand it, will you? This film reveals ancient strategies to navigate uncertainty, protect wealth, and seize opportunity. The storm is coming. Will you be prepared or be swept away? Stay with us to uncover the truth. Discover the hidden forces shaping the global economy. In this episode's under 30-minute video explanation, we'll learn about the crucial role Trump's return will play in disrupting market liquidity, why the Federal Reserve and central banks often misjudge actual economic conditions and mess up our lives, and how to protect your wealth. Remember to watch until the very end, and please like and subscribe so you can easily find it again when needed. Let's validate the model together, as our research model sets parameters based on the global economic situation. Although the model and parameters are constantly changing, after over 2 years of validation, we've achieved stable returns. It's all thanks to the strong recommendations of surrounding colleagues and friends. That's what motivates us to create and share these videos. Nothing is predetermined because human effort can change things. The recent hit TV series Purple 9 Layers and My Perfect Secretary already illustrates this. You have agency. You're endowed with a brain for a reason. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. In the next episode, we'll discuss the global retrograde chaos where more uncertainty and illusions than usual may arise in the coming weeks. Just when you think it's safe to build a position, conditions and chart patterns change. As an investor and trader and a viewer of our channel's premier program, acquiring knowledge is an excellent quality. In a retrograde climate, patience and/or the ability to act quickly may be even more valuable. Normal is not normal during retrograde storms. Let's gain new insights into the 2025 financial market and your financial management. Recently, with the increasing emphasis on healthy eating, Synopsis Vegetarian House has been thriving overall. These 3 restaurants each have their short-term business opportunities and long-term development potential. Diners should choose based on their own tastes and preferences and pay attention to changes in menus and prices. One of them is highly correlated with the recent increase in earthquake frequency. So, please watch the video until the end to pay attention to issues such as earthquake detection that are highly relevant to your life and property safety. Of course, this is just an analogy. An actual investment requires careful consideration. Remember, investing is like trying new dishes. There are risks, and you need to assess them yourself. This channel is not responsible for any losses. Imagine your home's plumbing system as an economic system. Water flowing through pipes is like market liquidity, representing the ease with which funds flow within the system. A steady, strong water flow is essential for everything to work smoothly. Just like you need water to cook, clean, and shower, businesses need liquidity to invest, hire, and grow. Happy New Year, everyone! Have you cheered yourself up for the new year? Welcome to the Happy Life gas station. All information provided in this channel's videos is for reference only and does not constitute any investment advice or invitation. Investment involves risks, and investors should assess the risks themselves. This channel is not responsible for any losses caused by any investment decisions. Investment scam self-defense techniques. Don't be a sucker. Today's scams are changing faster than ever. Today it's a guaranteed profit investment artifact. Tomorrow it's an insider information VIP group. And the day after tomorrow it becomes a limited time private placement high return plan. No matter how they package it, a scam is a scam. There are no shortcuts to investing. Don't believe in guaranteed profits, a pie in the sky. Look, fitness requires sweat. Learning an instrument requires practice. How can there be such a thing as getting rich easily? If there really was a 100% guaranteed way to make money from investing, how would scammers have time to find you? They would already be financially free. 3 don'ts and 3 do's for anti-fraud so you won't be fooled. The 3 don'ts: don't listen. Strangers recommending insider information, treat it as a scam. Don't listen, don't add. Suspicious investment groups, financial gurus, line groups, treat them as traps. Don't add. Don't use unknown investment websites. Suspicious apps, treat them as viruses. Don't use the 3 do's. Be alert. Someone suddenly and enthusiastically pulls you into an investment group. Be careful, it could be a scam group casting a wide net. Verify. Any investment information, first Google it, check official sources, don't rush to transfer money. Report. Encounter suspected fraud? Report it to 110-165 anti-fraud hotline. There are no shortcuts to investment and financial management. Staying rational is the safest bet. Remember, when someone tells you guaranteed profit, the only one guaranteed to profit is the scammer, and you'll just become their ATM. Invest through formal channels. Don't be tempted by high profits. Be careful of being blinded by temporary excitement and ending up with nothing. Important things. Finally finished. Let's begin. Now think about what affects the water flow in your home. The size of the pipes matters. Wider pipes allow more water to flow freely, just as looser lending standards in the financial system allow for more borrowing and spending. Water bills are like interest rates. Higher water bills discourage water usage, just as higher interest rates discourage borrowing and slow down economic activity. The water reservoir is like the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, playing a crucial role. A large reservoir can ensure a steady water supply even during droughts. Similarly, the Fed's balance sheet can inject liquidity into the market during times of crisis. Now, imagine your backyard swimming pool. It stores a large amount of water, just like the repo market, where financial institutions can park their excess cash. Let's dive deeper into this analogy. The health of the plumbing system is also crucial. If the pipes are old or leaking, water flow will be reduced, potentially leading to severe damage. This is like structural problems in the economic system, such as a fragile banking system or excessive market volatility, which can affect the flow of funds and the overall stability of the economy. Regular maintenance and inspection of the plumbing system to ensure its proper functioning are just like regulators needing to oversee financial markets to ensure their healthy operation. Additionally, water quality is important. Poor water quality can have health implications and even damage appliances. This is like the quality of assets in financial markets. If asset quality is poor, it can lead to a financial crisis. Therefore, ensuring good water quality is just as important as ensuring the quality of assets in financial markets. This requires the joint efforts of governments and regulators to develop standards and regulations that ensure the healthy functioning of the market. Let's go back to the issue of water bills. Changes in water bills directly affect household water consumption. When water bills rise, households may choose to conserve water and reduce unnecessary expenses. Similarly, when interest rates rise, businesses and consumers may reduce borrowing and spending, impacting economic activity. This is why central banks need to be very cautious when setting interest rates, as this has far-reaching implications for the entire economy. In other words, a household's plumbing system has many similarities to the operation of an economic system. Understanding these similarities can help us better comprehend the principles of economic operation and make more informed decisions when facing economic challenges. Whether it's managing household water resources or national economic resources, the key is to ensure the healthy and stable operation of the system. The Federal Reserve is like the plumber of the financial system, controlling the water pressure, which is the interest rate. By adjusting these rates, the Fed aims to maintain a healthy flow of liquidity while avoiding the pressures of inflation or deflation. Remember, inflation is like too much water in the pipes, causing prices to rise. Deflation is the opposite, with too little water leading to falling prices. The Fed can raise interest rates to cool down an overheated economy by discouraging borrowing and spending. Conversely, it can lower interest rates to encourage borrowing and stimulate growth during economic downturns. Finding the right balance is crucial. Too much water pressure can lead to asset bubbles like inflated housing prices. Too little and the economy stagnates, just like a house with low water pressure struggles to function correctly. The Fed's job is a delicate balancing act requiring constant monitoring of the economic pipes and making adjustments to keep the water flowing smoothly. Inflation is often described as an overheated economy, but it's more nuanced than that. Imagine your home has ample water pressure, but there's a shortage of appliances like washing machines, dishwashers, and showers. Everyone wants to use water simultaneously, driving up water bills even though there's no problem with the water supply itself. Similarly, inflation can be caused not just by excessive demand, but also by supply chain disruptions or rising production costs. When goods and services become scarce or more expensive to produce, prices can rise even if the money supply remains relatively stable. Think about the recent surge in lumber prices. This wasn't solely due to increased demand for new homes. Supply chain bottlenecks and rising transportation costs also played a significant role, pushing prices higher even as the broader economy struggled. Understanding the multifaceted nature of inflation is crucial for both policymakers and consumers. Now, let's talk about your mortgage, car loan, and even your credit card debt and student loans. This silent tsunami could wreak havoc on our economic plumbing system. Imagine a family maxing out their credit cards, burdened with more debt than they can handle. Interest payments alone become a huge burden, leaving less money for essential expenses. Similarly, when governments accumulate massive debts, it weighs down the economy. High debt levels can lead to rising interest rates as lenders demand higher returns for the increased risk. This can crowd out private investment as businesses and individuals face higher borrowing costs. Moreover, high government debt can erode investor confidence, leading to capital flight and currency devaluation. Like a heavily indebted household, a government facing a debt crisis may be forced to implement austerity measures, cutting spending and raising taxes, which can further stifle economic growth. The limits of easy money policies. In response to the 2008 financial crisis and the subsequent COVID-19 pandemic, central banks worldwide, including the Federal Reserve, slashed interest rates to near zero and pumped trillions of dollars into the financial system through quantitative easing, QE. These measures were like turning on all the taps in our household analogy, flooding the system with liquidity. The intention behind these policies was to prevent an economic collapse and ensure the stability of financial markets. However, while these measures did have a positive effect in the short term, they also brought about a number of long-term challenges and risks. While these actions helped prevent a complete economic collapse, they also led to some unintended consequences. The flood of cheap money inflated asset prices, leading to soaring stock and real estate markets. However, this wealth effect didn't trickle down to the real economy in a meaningful way. Many people saw their wages stagnate while the gap between the rich and everyone else widened. Furthermore, prolonged low interest rates created moral hazard, encouraging excessive risk-taking and fueling a borrowing binge. This brings us back to the issue of debt, as individuals, businesses, and governments alike took advantage of cheap credit, potentially setting the stage for future crises. For instance, bubbles in the real estate market could burst, leading to a collapse in housing prices, which would then impact the broader economy. Meanwhile, inflated valuations in the stock market could also trigger a major correction and volatility down the line. Additionally, while these policies stimulated consumption and investment in the short term, they also brought about the risk of inflation. As a large amount of money entered the market, the prices of goods and services began to rise, putting pressure on ordinary consumers. Government stimulus checks, while boosting consumption in the short term, could also contribute to long-term inflationary pressures. The challenge for central banks is how to control inflation without triggering an economic recession. This requires delicate policy adjustments and keen observation of the market. We need to recognize that while easy money policies are necessary in certain situations, they are not a panacea for all economic problems. We need more structural reforms and policy innovations to address the root causes. This includes improving financial literacy, encouraging responsible borrowing and investment, and promoting sustainable economic growth. Only then can we truly achieve a transformation from zero to hero rather than relying on short-term policy stimuli. The future health and stability of the economy require our joint efforts to find a balance between preventing economic collapse and avoiding long-term risks and imbalances. The Federal Reserve has powerful tools to influence short-term interest rates, such as the federal funds rate, which is the rate banks charge each other for overnight loans. However, controlling long-term interest rates, such as those for mortgages and corporate bonds, is another matter. Think of it this way. The Fed can control the flow of water into the main pipe, but it can't dictate how much water each household gets. Factors like market sentiment, inflation expectations, and global capital flows all play a role in determining long-term rates. This distinction is crucial because long-term rates have a much more significant impact on investment decisions and overall economic activity. When the Fed tries to raise short-term rates, but long-term rates remain stubbornly low, it can be a sign that people lack confidence in the long-term economic outlook. Why a ship sailing towards an iceberg? Your 60/40th portfolio could be a disaster in 2025. For decades, the traditional 60/40th portfolio, 60% allocated to stocks, 40% to bonds, has been considered a prudent approach for long-term investors. However, in today's environment of high inflation, rising interest rates, and geopolitical uncertainty, this once reliable strategy may be as perilous as the Titanic sailing towards an iceberg. The 60/40th portfolio relies on an inverse correlation between stocks and bonds. When stocks go up, bonds typically go down, and vice versa. This inverse relationship helps to cushion the portfolio during market swings. However, in recent years, this correlation has broken down, with both stocks and bonds falling simultaneously. This breakdown is largely due to the unprecedented monetary policies implemented after the 2008 financial crisis. With interest rates near zero, bond yields were minuscule and highly sensitive to even small rate hikes. As the Fed began raising rates, both stocks and bonds came under pressure, leaving investors with few places to hide. After the 2008 financial crisis, major central banks around the world adopted unprecedented monetary easing policies to stimulate economic recovery. Interest rates were pushed down to near zero, and there were even cases of negative interest rates. In this environment, bond yields were extremely low, forcing investors to seek returns elsewhere. However, as the economy gradually recovered, inflationary pressures began to emerge, forcing central banks to reconsider their monetary policies. The Federal Reserve started to gradually raise interest rates in an attempt to control inflation, but this also brought new uncertainties to the market. In addition to changes in monetary policy, geopolitical uncertainty has also had a significant impact on the market. From trade wars to the global pandemic to the energy crisis, these events have all contributed to market volatility. High inflation and rising interest rates have posed unprecedented challenges to the traditional 60/40th portfolio. Investors need to re-evaluate their investment strategies and seek new hedging tools and diversified portfolios to cope with future uncertainties. In this environment, investors need more flexible and diversified investment strategies. They may need to consider adding alternative investments such as real estate, commodities, and private equity to diversify risk. At the same time, investors also need to pay close attention to market dynamics and adjust their portfolios in a timely manner to respond to the ever-changing market environment. Only in this way can they find a safe route on this ship sailing towards the iceberg and avoid significant losses in their portfolios. In conclusion, The traditional 60/40th portfolio faces significant challenges in the current market environment. Investors need to re-examine their investment strategies and seek new hedging tools and diversified portfolios to cope with future uncertainties. Only in this way can they find a safe route on this ship sailing towards the iceberg and avoid significant losses in their portfolios. The liquidity is an uncontrollable force, and those who fail to understand its nature are left in a state of perilous anticipation, uncertain of when the tide will turn. Hexagram 5, Shuǐ Tiān Xū. Waiting, nourishment, represents a period of waiting with patience, as external forces like the liquidity cycle and inflation must play out before decisive action can be taken. The markets, like a traveler caught in a storm, must wait for the conditions to stabilize. The financial markets approaching a reckoning as rising debt, inflation, and bond yields reach their critical thresholds. The imagery of Shuǐ Tiān Xū is water suspended in the sky, rain that has not yet fallen. This represents economic conditions building toward an inevitable moment of release. Shuǐ Tiān Xū hexagram teaches that our rushing into action without understanding the full picture leads to ruin. The article reflects this wisdom, warning that those who misinterpret liquidity, whether central bankers, money managers, or investors, will suffer the consequences of their ignorance. The second meaning of Shuǐ Tiān Xū is nourishment, not just of the body, but of strategy and foresight. The IDC model, like a scholar consulting the Yi-Jing, seeks a deeper understanding of economic cycles to prevent financial catastrophe. Those who heed the lesson of patience and study the underlying forces will survive and even prosper, while those who act recklessly will be consumed by the storm. If a changing line occurs within Hexagram 5 Shuǐ Tiān Xū, it could lead to Hexagram 48 Shui Feng Jing, the well, which symbolizes drawing from deep sources of wisdom to sustain the community. This suggests that the true solution lies in returning to fundamental economic principles rather than short-term interventions. Hexagram 5 Shuǐ Tiān Xū perfectly encapsulates the market's current fragile state. A storm is gathering, but action must be measured, deliberate, and informed. The liquidity cycle, like the rain in Shuǐ Tiān Xū, cannot be forced or manipulated at will. It must run its course. Investors, central bankers, and policymakers must prepare, not panic, for those who act blindly will be swept away by the coming flood. All information provided in this channel's videos is for reference only and does not constitute any investment advice or invitation. Investment involves risks, and investors should assess the risks themselves. This channel is not responsible for any losses caused by any investment decisions. Remember, investing is like trying new dishes. There are risks, and you need to assess them yourself. This channel is not responsible for any upset stomachs. Of course, this is just an analogy, and actual investment requires careful consideration. In conclusion, we see that combining traditional culinary wisdom with modern dining strategies is not only possible, but downright revolutionary. From embracing new ingredients to balancing taste and health, these principles offer a fresh perspective on running a restaurant. So, let's remain optimistic and anticipate restaurants flourishing by adopting these timeless yet timely strategies. A balanced and sensible approach is crucial. Like a tightrope walker with a safety net, the key is to find the sweet spot and stay agile. Adopting a cautious and sensible approach, focusing on balance and adaptability, is crucial for navigating the future economy. The current global market situation is complex, with both favorable and unfavorable factors, opportunities and risks coexisting. Each region on Earth has different longitudes and latitudes, and its environmental resources are also different. Through artificial intelligence computing, such as neural networks, we can summarize timely opinions based on regional characteristics and national economic data. By watching our videos every week, you can stay informed and improve your quality of life in multiple ways with minimal time investment. To survive these turbulent financial waters, being adaptable and avoiding increased risks is paramount. Regardless of your investment experience, it's crucial to stay tuned to our video premieres for better decision-making. It is important to remember that knowledge not only means power, but it is also a tool to increase your value. If you have any topics you're interested in, please feel free to leave a comment. I want to conclude this episode by expressing my gratitude for the support of all our viewers. If you found today's video somewhat insightful, please give it a thumbs up so you can easily find it again when needed. I want to thank you for your attention. That's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for watching. Remember to visit the Happy Life gas station. Cheer up and see you next time. Thank you.